I've always felt different. I've always seen things, but when I tried to express them as a child, I was always told to ignore it.
There were people that I didn't know that came to me and said, I have this message that I keep getting that I have to deliver to you.
All of a sudden, out of the shadows, a homeless man just jumped right in front of me. And he said, I'm a soul just like you.
I love it.
I wanted to understand the universe and who and what we are and what are we doing here.
Well, we're all part of this amazing soul wave tapping into each other.
This was a major life changer.
You are a light. You have helped me a ton. Thank you.
You've given me the courage to live more from my soul.
Millions of people are awakening. So wake up with Michele Meiche. Be pleased to hear the best-selling authors and experts in the fields of cutting-edge self-help, personal growth, metaphysics, and spirituality. The soul path of awakening. Understand what living awake is.
Hello, everyone. Oh, yeah, understand what living awake is. We have been doing this, I think, since 2007. Gang, 2007, 2006, we've been living awake. Longer than that, we've been living more and more awake. Hello, everyone. If you happen to be new here, welcome. Welcome to this amazing community and very soul purpose fulfilling podcast. And I hope you feel comfortable here and find a sense of community and a place just to be you and get a lot of advanced information on spirituality, metaphysics, spiritualism, self-development, spiritual integration, the occult, astrology, meditation, and for sure on the ascension process and awakening and all that that entails. So if you are new to the program and you want to listen in the chat, that's great. You can listen. If you want to ask questions, you need to do a little profile with BT Radio, Blog Talk Radio, BTR. You can also listen by phone, 347-539-5122. Press 1 on the keypad if you have a question, a comment, or you want a reading. That's 347-539-5122. 347-539-5122. And press 1 on the keypad. And I do believe in the podcast episode description that number is there as well. We have a lot of people that listen by phone, so please remember to press 1 if you have a question, a comment, or you want to get live on air, or you want a reading. I really want to thank all of you that took the time or are taking the time to go to Spotify or what is the other one? Apple Podcasts, and you've been leaving 5-star reviews. I really, really, really appreciate that. It really helps the algorithm. Also, it's a sense of encouragement and, inspiration for me since this is totally community-based. We don't, have advertisers. I'm really trying to keep advertisers off. We have people that do request to advertise on the podcast, and I'm really trying to keep this advertiser free. Or some of the advertisers, and I won't mention names, I just haven't felt a resonance with because it's not just the advertising dollars for me. It's like, would I use this service? Is this service, would I use this service? Or, could I contemplate it even? So stick around for the second half of the program. We have an awakening discussion, our awakening conversation. This week our guest is Amy Robeson, so we'll be diving in with her healer and spiritual mentor. And also I do believe she's going to be answering questions or doing many readings of some sort as well. I'll have to clarify that with her. Some of you ask me sometimes, why don't, guests, especially if they're astrologers, why don't they do readings, or why don't they answer questions? A lot of guests do not want to answer questions, and there's been a few times that I've put guests on the spot, apparently, that have been readers, and some people say, I've been doing this 30, 40 years, and I don't like doing readings anymore. I earned the right not to have to do readings on air. I think that's just a personal preference. I'm not giving any shade to anyone or dissing anyone, but I was born psychic, so I've been doing this my whole life, and I started channeling in my 20s, having the spiritual hierarchy just show up and start sending me people. And I still love doing readings. I love doing live readings. Back in the day when I was doing TV, appearances and pilots and such, but they would have, audience readings, and I don't know why. I just love it. I don't think I could be a cold call salesperson, but there's something so magical about connecting in with someone. And I found this years ago. Shout out to Richard Berger, who was, I was an early adopter, obviously, to technology since I had a podcast so early. Really very few people had podcasts. So I've always been interested in technology because I feel that it's coming from the all that is, God, the mind of God, the all that is. It's these incredible inventions and innovations to ways to connect or share or express yourself more. I love stuff like that. It inspires me and, it intrigues me. So I think my first website was 1999. So that's going back. And I had my merch, my CDs, back in the day, MP3s, one of the first in the digital market. So going back to Richard, he was big into, I don't know if people remember this, and I wasn't really in chat rooms a lot, but he was involved. Yeah, the company Astral.com. I still don't know exactly what they did, but I know it was technology and something on the internet using computers. But he was fascinated with the chats, AOL chat. And one day he said, "Oh, come on, come over." And we were in the chat, and he was talking, and I was like, "I wonder if I could do readings in here." So I spent hours in the chat doing readings, and they were so accurate. And what I felt is like what I feel when I do the Soul Insights and Tarot. Those of you, please subscribe also to Awakenings. By the way, let's side note, Awakenings with Michele Meiche podcast on YouTube. We are extending over there bit by bit. And also Soul Insights and Tarot. It would really be very much appreciated if you would subscribe and get the notifications at Soul Insights and Tarot. Anyway, so when I'm doing readings, like the pick a card readings, and I feel the people's energy. I hear what people are asking. Sometimes I even see the people, and I'll say to certain things, and people will say, "That was me. I was doing this," and they'll describe themselves, or sometimes people send me a screenshot of where they were, what they were doing, and it just reinforces the interconnectedness of all of us, and I love tapping into that. And it was wild. It was amazing in a chat room to go in there and you feel all these energies and what they're going through, even though you didn't see them. Back in the day, I don't know, they had some little icon. I think even way back in the day, it was whatever you call it, flash, I don't know what it is, but they didn't even have an icon. They just had the name, and they had it underscored. And then at one point you could click on the hyperlink of the name to see a profile. But in the chat, they didn't even have, I think in the early days, if I recall, they had they didn't even have icons. So, or later they had icons, but they were just cartoony. So anyway, it was just fascinating to feel the energy, and even whether people ask questions, sometimes I would vibe on someone and give them a mini reading. Now, of course, I told them I'm going to do this if you guys are open for this. I think it would be fun and it will be insightful. And so, I asked permission. I just didn't go and, start saying, hey, this and that about you. But it was extremely accurate, and it was extremely fun. And then when I started playing around with the pick a card on the YouTube, it's very reminiscent of that we connect into the subtle energy. And, we're these broadcasters, transmitters, transponding. We're picking up a signal from the universe. We are a signal, actually, to be honest. And our signal is broadcasting or transmitting. and it's being picked up. And so in a way, I think as a channel, I'm just able to pick up, whether it's individuals or companies or groups or governments or societies, I'm picking up that signal in the morphogenic field or the zeitgeist, however you want to look at it, in the universal field of consciousness. So I even did it, I think a year or two ago, or a couple of years ago, I don't remember, and if you're listening, I'll come back. I did a corporate event via Zoom, and I was not only able to do readings, it was so fun because I thought normally when I would do corporate events, people want to talk, it was because it's corporate, I would usually be talking about meditation, maybe creativity in meditation, using your intuition for creativity or problem solving, stress reduction, maybe hypnotherapy, those kinds of things. But this company, shout out, who you are. She brought me in because she's part of my Patreon community and also Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube. But she said, I think it'd be fun if you can talk about that, but to do pick a card. And I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, to do readings. So I was able to do individual readings and then also pick up on some stuff that was verified as accurate that was going on within the company. So why do I share this? It's just to underscore the magic and mystery that we all are and that we really are all interconnected. And, of course, I learned this when I studied holistic health, went to hypnotherapy school, when I studied transpersonal therapy and transpersonal psychology. We believe in that mind-body and that there is this interconnectedness through the subconscious mind, that all of us are picking up information through the subconscious mind, and as a hypnotherapist, that's true, and that's why we get vibes of people. But I feel it's even beyond the subconscious mind, or we need to extend or expand our definition of the subconscious mind. I feel that it's an interplay. I think the subconscious mind is an entry point or a portal into these other realms to navigate, and whether you want to call it inner plane work, like when I'm doing more metaphysical work, I call it inner plane, because that's what it is. It is the inner plane. So there's a lot of different ways to look at it. Einstein played in these fields. Carl Jung played in these fields, and that's where we have archetypes that reside within our subconscious mind and in the collective unconsciousness. And we are an archetype. Our avatar, our little icon that people see, which is a sliver of who we are, maybe an eighth or smaller, it's smaller, that's what we interface with, but that is not us. It's representing us, really, in a way. All right, we're going to get to questions and readings. Got people in the chat saying hello. Jacqueline, oh, great. Thank you, Jacqueline. Mailed you back. I swear I had replied. Cannot find it in my sent box. No worries, Jackie. No worries. Hi, everyone in the chat. Great to hear you. Thank you, Jay. Hi, Jody. Oh, we got joy, fun, happiness. Joy, fun, happiness. Jackie in the chat. Jackie and Sue's in the chat. Hi, everyone. Good to see everyone. Okay, that number again, 347-539-5122. Press 1. Numero 1. Uno. Numero uno. Numero uno. Okay, I want to just share a couple little things that I got this morning with my little chit-chat with source energies, connecting in with spirit and the spiritual hierarchy. Right now, if you feel you're being blocked or delayed, it's because of recalibration of energy and a redirection. And so I talked about this. We had our Soul Path Journeyer Metaphysics and Spiritual Salon. It's Advanced Metaphysics, Spiritualism, and the Occult. We dive deep into this, but I want to share with everyone, or it was guided to. A big thing that's happening right now is alchemizing of the shadow energy. Now, shadow, a lot of people, unless you've studied psychology, always look at the shadow as something negative, like, oh, I'm working on my shadow material. It's my healing my inner child and my anger. Shadow is what is not yet readily known and integrated, consciously integrated into our personality. So it can be less life-enhancing things or denser energies, but it can also be our gifts. I can't tell you how many people I have worked with over the years that, I'm just going to give an archetype, that are the assistant to someone, or the secretary, or the vice president, or they're the vice president's assistant, or the president of the company's assistant, and they're doing everything. Or they're the creative director or designer that's doing, covering their boss's ass, so to speak, right? And then there becomes power struggles, and they don't understand why. And when I talk to them, and even doing the hypnotherapy, we can see that it's situation after situation. What is their shadow material? They're not stepping into their power, their empowerment. They want to have more of a powerful position. So that's an unrealized need, their psychology, of their personality, that's shadow. And so they could say, why do I always attract people that don't understand me, or take advantage of me, or I do all the work and I don't get recognized? Well, maybe you're a leader, or maybe you want to do something on your own, or maybe you want a job that you have more say-so, or a position that you have more say-so. So it's not only, when we're looking at the shadow, or what we're projecting in the world, it's like the rock star. We project a lot, or the social media star, or whatever, the reality star, the TV star. But when you're in that projection of, oh my God, that person's so creative, they're so amazing, they're so talented, it's great to do that. It's great to go, my God, that person's amazing. And I also have something of that quality. Because if we stay too long in the projection, we have to move into the perception of the situation. I always tell people, I know it's graphic, we all poo and pee, okay? We all get sick, and if we get sick, we may vomit, we have a fever, headache. You know what I mean, guys? We got to keep it real. It's that thing when you're doing the, speaking engagement, you're nervous, you just picture people nude, So it's great to admire people, respect people. I mean, I love it. People respect me, admire, oh my God, Michele, you have gifts, you're this and that. And yeah, I'm all that, and I'm also, humanly flawed, and have my quirks and my things, quirks that I like and things that I don't like. And so we want to connect into the wholeness or the totality, not only of us, but other people. So I bring this up because part of what's happening right now, the alchemization that's taking place, is when we have been in projecting out too much, whether positively or negatively, right, in a life-enhancing way or non-life-enhancing way. That's kind of being churned and brought up through the subconscious. It's being played out in situations. It's being played out in the earth plane. A lot is being played out right now to look at it, not necessarily to try to fix it, but to acknowledge it. And then what do we do with it? How do we integrate that? If someone's continually frustrated or angry, it's like, what is that frustration or anger about? Not, don't be angry. That's a lower emotion. Focus on gratitude. No, that doesn't always work. Doing a gratitude list doesn't always work. There might be some deep, serious inner work of the person may have a very good reason that they're angry or frustrated or annoyed or irritated. Anger, annoyance, irritation on a long-term basis has to do with boundaries, that boundaries are constantly being eroded or crossed. Whether you're eroding your own boundaries or you're allowing other people to do so, or a work situation is doing it. Like, we don't have overtime anymore because we're not paying for overtime, and then people are given extra workload. After a while, you're going to be upset. You're going to be annoyed, irritated, angry, feel like you're taken advantage of. Right? So there's only an hour of overtime allowed, and and the workload is 2 hours. Now, in that situation, this is where coming from the higher self comes in, is if you need that position or that income, that job, whatever you're doing, if you need that right now, it does no good to be angry about it. You have to find the purpose or the reason for why you're there and acknowledge that. And I always like to say, okay, this is good, this is helping me, and I want to do this, and I want another position or job or whatever it is that brings more income, so eventually I can leave this. A little bit of manifesting energy there, you guys. So look around right now in your life and see how this applies, and maybe you're wanting to get out of a certain situation. You have to see how it's working for you. And I have found 9.5 times out of 10, when people are very angry at their job, it's because they're giving too much. They're even giving more than what the people are wanting. And also they're wanting some level of emotional fulfillment from that job, and it may not be there. Not all jobs or positions bring emotional fulfillment. Some of them just bring income. Some of them bring income and insurance card, right? And so then you have to consciously find your fulfillment in another area, another avenue, another structure, another organization, another activity or a hobby. Make sense, gang? Make sense? So if you're feeling blocked, delayed, there's a recalibration of energy, there's an alchemizing of the shadow, which is also the potential for new and greater soul expression and experience. Also, you want to look at what's your best environment for you, where you're at now. Look at your environment. What do you need to be more peaceful, calm, fulfilled, more productive, more inspired? If you're saying, oh, my God, well, I really need to be in a lush environment. I need to be, a garden, but I only have a deck off my, apartment window or condo window. Then make that deck the best damn garden that you can. Bring in those flowers, okay? Work with what you have right now, gang. And then the other two things are, that would greatly help you are 2 pick-a-card readings that I did, which is create the best, what is it? Where is it? Oh, why are you in the circumstances you're at? That's about 2 months ago. It's all about why you're in the current circumstances that you are in. And then the second one is the Virgo new moon, which dropped 9/11. What was that, Monday or Tuesday? Dropped Tuesday. Virgo new moon, and there's a new moon ritual in that is a really good ritual, kick-ass ritual. I cannot wait to do it. The longer pick-a-cards that I have always have a meditation. They may have a ritual. I do go into collective energies and what's going on and how it could be affecting individual, and then I do the pick-a-card. You can skip all that and get to the pick-a-card if you want to. Up to you. Let's get to callers, 347-539-5122. Let's get the first caller. Hi, you're on air.
Oh, hi, Michelle. It's Donna. I was calling for a reading. How are you?
Hey, Donna. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good.
How are you doing?
Well, my one brother has terminal cancer. My sister has breast and lymph node cancer. So I'm going to go up and help both of them.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, they're young,
okay.
Diagnosed at the same time.
Oh, that's got to be hard for you.
Yeah, it is. I love them both dearly, yeah.
Oh.
But it's okay. We're keeping positive thoughts and everything.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So what do we want to look at?
My love life. I don't have one.
Okay. Well, you have one. It needs to be filled up. I would definitely suggest to you also to do the new moon ritual that I did. Go to my YouTube, Soul Insights and Tarot, and it's the Virgo new moon ritual. It's the latest video.
Oh.
And that's going to help you. It's a very small ritual. It's called scripting. It works. It's also a hypnotherapy process. It works with the subconscious mind, encoding. But first of all, you have to see you have and I love your humor, by the way, but yet you have a love life. I want you to make room for that because you want to fill it. One thing I get with you also, Donna, not just because you have these, people that you love in your life that are going through this, passage and with this condition that we call cancer, you also there's a lot of focus for you on other people, a lot. So I feel for you psychically what I see, you need to carve out some space to even let someone in or some new influence in. And that, that could be, I don't know, I would even visualize space. When you go out, just feel it. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just as with the out-breath, feel more space and see this person coming in. Because I do feel you are going to meet someone. I feel right now, I feel in a way you're just overtaxed. You're just, there's actually no room emotionally to draw anyone in. And I feel the type of person you want, and I do feel you will get, is someone that also nurtures you or takes care of you. That's, so let's see, Donna, what's coming up for, I'm going to ask, what's coming up for filling up Donna's love life? We want to fill that cup up. All right. It may be a while. I would say next year. It may be towards June.
Okay.
So you've got some. It's also saying with work or where you're working or yeah. No, that's why it's so weird, because I gave you that meditation about extending space. I feel this person is going to come through routine or everyday activity, something that you do every day. I'm telling
okay,
do you ever get yourself?
I'm retired.
Oh, yes. That I was going to say. Well, they're retired too. I was going to say, get that tea, get that coffee when you walk on the beach. They come from your daily routine, and you start up a conversation.
Oh, okay.
And the person is also retired. Yeah, that's how they come in. Yeah. So whatever is in that routine, now mind you, it could be you see them a couple times, or you get something to go. Maybe you get a coffee and something to go, but this time I stay a little longer, or drink that tea, that coffee there, that croissant there. Yeah, they come in your daily routine. All right, Donna, keep us posted. Go watch those videos.
Thank you,
do that Virgo New Moon ritual, Soul Insights and Tarot. Lots of love.
Soul Insights and Tarot. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube, or you can just search my name on YouTube and it'll come up. And it's the New Moon ritual. It's in the video that was just posted. Virgo New Moon ritual. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
All right, Jackie in the chat. Donovan and I are going to do the New Moon ritual either tonight or tomorrow night. Oh, thank you. Oh, and you're loving the rituals. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, I think I'm going to go back because I was with my blog. I don't know if I did this. I told my Patreon peeps this, but our wonderful Soul Awakening community. But I can't get in the WordPress in the back end of my website, so now I'm doing the numerology insights and monthly focus on Patreon, and then I guess I'll bring the new moon and full moon writings and rituals I was doing on my blog. I guess I will bring it to my YouTube channel. Does that sound good, Jackie? Let me know in the chat. Does that sound good, peeps? My lovely, heartfelt, soul light beings that I love connecting with so much. All right, let's see. Next caller. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, you're on the air.
Hello. Hi, this is Carla. Thanks for taking my call. You asked me to give you an update. Hi.
Okay,
I had
Carla. Yeah.
Yeah, I had called a couple of times regarding the sale of my condo, and you kept picking up that it would sell, but unfortunately it didn't. And so
still not.
No.
Oh.
No. So I'm at the point where, like, okay, I'm just going to pull it off the market and just not even lower the price. I did, but nothing happened.
But a lot of stuff, I've been seeing stuff not selling, and I've been in my Patreon, that was one of my predictions, there's going to be a lot of houses on the market. I would pull it off, and I would bring it back on the spring. Part of it is also, I remember you put it on the winter months, right? Didn't you put it on?
And I did, and then I took it off.
I know, but see that, but people
over the summer.
Yeah, people notice that. They look at that. Who knows? timing, maybe I was thinking up next spring. But I would take it off and, wait a bit. You may have to lower. I've been telling all my clients to wait on the sale, depending where they're at, or they're waiting on buying rather, because I do see that there's going to be a lot of, what do they call it in real estate language? There's going to be a lot of product. There's going to be a lot of product on the market. You will sell it. You'll be able to get out of it, see what you can do, in the meantime, I guess, Carla, that I would say. Because part of, sometimes our individual path dovetails what's going on collectively. I took a hit, was it 2009, 2010? As the market was so depressed, and I was like, I think it was 2008 things got bad. And I was like, oh, it's not going to hurt me or hit me because, I have savings, I have this, I have that, and I got hit. I was like, oh, my God, my investments went down. Certain other things happened financially, and I got impacted, Even though I did everything, quote, unquote, right, I got impacted by what was going on collectively. So that can sometimes happen. But I know, I hear your disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah, it is disappointing.
Yeah. So what are you going to do?
I'm not sure. We're contemplating renting, but it's like not my first option. Obviously I wanted to sell and just be done with it because, renting is a different ball game, and you got to make sure that the tenant is good and reliable, and it's just.
I've had rental property
now.
before. I wouldn't. Yeah, you could attract somebody good. Let me see. Why is this happening to Carla? Let's look at that.
That would be nice.
Okay, why is this happening, Carla? We're not selling the property. What is she meant to do? What is she? Okay. Somehow you're meant to free up mentally, and there may be some projects or something or activities, something that you're wanting to do, but this has consumed you. I feel whatever that is, whatever it's creatively or project or a different way of working or some kind of activity that is much more inspirational and fulfilling for you, it may be, yes, put somebody in this place that you make more money, or receive more money through the rent, scaling down and focusing on that next step while you're here, because it's going to change something in your mind. It's going to loosen something up in your mind or your mental state or your mindset, your, mental emotional focus. And I don't know what that is for you, unless I deep dive, and, these are just mini readings. But I will leave you with one example. Years ago, a really, really good friend of mine and also a client, I think she was 44 at the time. She wanted to have kids. She got married and they come from a lot of means, so they did in vitro 2 or 3 times. And she even went to a very, very well-known psychic, bestseller book, and the psychic said, you're not going to have kids. Just get used, And I said, no, you will. You'll have one child. And I felt it was a girl. And no, I know, Michele, you're trying to be nice. I said, no, I'm a psychic channel. I'm telling you, it's in your soul path to have one child. I go, but what has to happen first is you have to do your art show. Because she was an artist, just a fledged beginning kind of artist. And she did her art show, and 6 months later she became pregnant. So I don't know. I don't make this stuff up. I don't know. It's whatever's in the soul. The soul has a destiny, and sometimes we're meant to do something before something else happens. It's not punitive. It's just the way that it is. And I always look back on that. I have another client, similar thing. Theirs was a move to Colorado, and I had predicted her. I think she was the one that was 44, because she was like, well, I have this medical condition. The doctor in England said I'm not going to get pregnant. I have this medical condition, makes it impossible. I said, no, I see a child, but it's going to be when you move with your husband and you get the business going and you'll get pregnant. And she got pregnant. So I don't know. There's something like that going on with you, with this house and something else that you're meant to do. So if you integrate and start doing that other thing, then that's going to shift the energy. That's all that I can tell you. All right, Carla, I appreciate you calling back in and sharing. You take care. Bye.
Thanks.
You're so welcome. Hi, you're on air. Hello, hello. Hi. Okay, that's 347. I'll come back to you. You guys, if you put your hands up, stay by the phone. Or put the speakerphone on if you're moving around. Hi, you're on air.
Hi, Michelle. It's Julia from Florida.
Hey, Julia. Another move situation, Julia. I can pick it up. What is it?
Well, still trying to move. I've been basically caregiving. I'm similar to Donna. I've been caregiving for my mother for the past 2 years, and she does not want to move. So that's part of it, is her health is not in the best. So everything is just kind of got put on the back burner with the move. So
yeah, there's your answer. How are you doing where you're at?
You know, up and down. Sometimes I get a little overwhelmed with everything, but you know, trying to stay positive, and you know, it's my mom, so I'm doing the best I can. Actually, I called in today because my birthday's Saturday, and I was kind of hoping for maybe some insights of, you know, something to sort of look forward to, or, you know, Spirit give me a little shout out. Little
shout out. Okay, Spirit, give Julia a little shout out here. Come on. Listen, I was yelling at Spirit the other day. I was like, I've been doing this a long time. Some things have to change. Some things have to shift. It's good to get a little demanding every now and then. That's a good energy if it's like anger, if it's positively directed or directed in a life-enhancing way. Ooh, similar to Don, you need to get out. Are you staying? I even see a drive. If you can get in the car, and Julia, you need to clear your head. You need to clear your head. What's worrying you? There's something really worrying on your mind, pressing on your. The word I hear, pressing.
Yeah. Well, my mom's actually in the hospital. She's been in the hospital since Friday. So, and they've been doing test after test and procedures. She just had one today, so it's been a lot.
Yeah, okay, so that's coming up the most. I'm going to suggest a drive and in some kind of, whether it's in person or online, like a yin yoga or stretching class, even if you do it just 10 or 15 minutes, or you can go on YouTube and look for yin yoga or nidra yoga even, which is like hypnotherapy. The first time I did nidra yoga, I was like, oh my God, this is hypnotherapy. Yeah, and just, it's not about doing a whole class. I would say just 10 to 15 minutes of the asanas, or what we call stretching, you know, the postures, is going to help you. You need nurturing, care. You know, if you can afford it, get a massage, a chiropractic appointment if you want to go that way. But if you can't do something, or just get foot massage or reflexology or manicure or pedicure, something where you're getting some other energy in. Now, because I just see, I don't want you to get sick or anything. Your energy field is extremely drained. There's just very little energy.
Yeah, I literally just got over COVID like a week and a half ago. I got COVID.
Oh, that's why too. Okay.
So yeah.
Well, so you're there. You go. Because I was like, I'm looking at your subtle. I go, well, I got to tell her. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but this time building up though, you got to build some extra self-care and nurturing. That's going to greatly help you. Now, I do see you going out. I do see. I feel a friend. There's somebody you're going to be going out with and having a really nice time, conversation. I see it outdoors. So that's good. The message
I have
to
a trip planned.
Oh, perfect.
I just wanted to tell you real quick to confirm what you're saying. I have a trip planned. My granddaughter's turning 2, so next Tuesday I'm flying to Kansas City for her birthday. So I'll be gone for a week, and that'll be rejuvenating. So fun.
Yeah,
so,
well, I
yes,
see you outdoors.
That's confirming what you're saying. So
okay, perfect. Yeah, because I do see some, outdoor activity, party or something, or drinks and eating, like at a restaurant too. So that's going to be really good. But make sure you integrate. Otherwise, you're going to slip back into sickness. I'm just going to be honest with you, straightforward. You need extra energy in, and if you can't get it from other people on a regular basis, then just doing 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes of what I'm suggesting will help. A little foot massage, something like that, or put your feet in like a little hot tub of water. What do you call it? Like soak. That'll help also. While watching TV or something. All right, Julia, have a great trip. Happy birthday to your granddaughter. Big hug.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Michele. I really needed this, so thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Sending you lots of love. I'm gonna stick you in my healing circle.
Oh,
my
thank
energy
you.
healing
I really
and
appreciate
circle.
that. So
thank
you.
You're welcome. Bye. Hi, you're on air.
Hi, Michele. This is Katie. How are you?
I'm doing great. What's the first name?
Katie.
Katie. Hi, Katie. Welcome.
Hi. I wanted some help with, I guess, the energy around moving to either Atlanta or Charlotte. I just want to know what's the energy around those two places.
Get Atlanta. They're very similar.
Yeah.
Is that true? Because I see you have connections in both. Somehow I feel you're going to, or it's almost like one has your heart, but I'm seeing that Charlotte, are you getting ready to go there? Or do
I went there
research there? Oh, you went there recently?
Maybe a few months ago I went to visit.
Oh, okay.
Because I
why.
I went to visit.
Because it shows you checking out Charlotte more. So I don't know if I'm picking that up because you recently went there or going
what
back
I said
there.
I would do is if I do move to Atlanta, I can know it's only like a 3-hour, 4-hour drive. I said I would, I can just visit. Like say if I don't move there within the next year, I could just, if I live in Atlanta, I could just, visit Charlotte a lot.
Oh, okay. Because I definitely feel, now, Atlanta seems to have more people or more people or more opportunity. There could even be a job. So I would say that may be your hub, and then you're checking out Charlotte more is what I'm hearing. But both of them read well for you, by the way. They both read well.
Yeah, you know what? As I was waiting to talk to you, I realized I kind of was asking myself what I thought you might ask me. And what I realized is that because I'm somewhere else, I'm not in either one of those states, but I realized I have so many just clothes and things, and I'm I didn't even try half the stuff I have. I'm I can't even fit some of this stuff. Why do I still have this stuff? And I'm what, I want just a makeover. I want to get a new hairstyle.
Yeah.
I want to have new clothes, and I want to feel very confident. I want to get back into my feminine energy and all of that. And I realized I have furniture in storage in Atlanta, and I said, you know what? I've been paying, I almost paid half of what the furniture costs just keeping it in storage. And then I'm I don't want to pay, because to move it to Charlotte's about $2,000. I'm that's even paying again to have that same furniture. And I was you know what? I don't feel like dealing with all of this right now. Getting new furniture, all of this. So I was you know what? I think I'm going to have to just put a hold on Charlotte, get my stuff out of storage. Yeah. Yeah,
well, there's some anchor for you in Atlanta, so there may be someone you're meant to connect with or meet or finish up, something, some kind of connection, a completion there. Now that you even tell me the furniture, that's just confirming what I'm seeing, you going to Atlanta first, that there's a lot holding you there. There's a lot, an anchor there for you. Wow.
Yeah,
okay, keep us posted on the move. Keep us posted on the move.
Thank you.
Excited to see how everything unfolds. You're welcome.
Yes,
Bye.
Thank you.
Hi, you're on air.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
My name is Tina from Colorado. Tina.
Who is
Hi.
it? Who is Tina? Hi, Tina. Tina. Hello.
Hello, Michelle. Thank you for. So first, I'm talking to you.
Oh, cool.
I listen to previous shows, and because you're right to the point, and sometimes the truth does hurt.
I do. Listen,
Michelle,
I've always been this way. One time I went out with friends. We were all going out to the club, and I didn't say anything about something my friend was wearing, or it was the hair.
Oh, yeah.
And then they asked me later, why didn't I say anything? And what I said, do you really want to know my opinion? And by the way, it was horrible. Listen, gang, I've been a teacher. I was a model. I don't know. My Mercury is in Leo. I may fudge on my weight, but everything else I'm pretty honest about. And I said, listen, don't. And I talked to her about it, and she agreed later. She's like, yeah. And I said, look, if I don't say something, I'm not the type of friend that says, wow, you look great, and I don't feel that you do. I really will say the truth, So sometimes people will ask me something. I'm like, are you sure? Do you want to know the truth? What do you want to know? Why are you asking me? And they'll go, no, tell me the truth. But I have really good clients because of that come back all the time or work with me continually, and friends, because they say, I know if I go to Michele, even if I don't agree with her, she will tell me her truth, or what the truth is, And like if you're wearing a mini skirt that's way just like, not fitting, okay, and you're coming out, I'll be like, and then I'll give a look, and then they'll say, what do you think? I'm like, okay, are we 52? Are we 22? I'm just saying. If you got the legs, wear it. It's not about the age. If you got the body, wear it. But I think we have to be, just respectful of our, our sacred energy field in a body. It's like what makes us really feel good and what fits with us. So, yeah, to your point, Tina, yes, I do have that part of me. So, anyway, welcome. I'm glad that you got on air, and
thank you.
I'm glad to connect with you. Yeah, what's your question?
Yeah, okay, so my question is, I have a very, very nice friend that I like and very much, and we had a little bit of discord, and I've been praying, I have communicated. I think that we have cleared the field, or it's almost clear. And the second part to that is where he's located, is he going through a transformation? Like, I think what I'm feeling, like he's going to discover some stuff with the business partner, or one that's near the same office. And
he's moving. He's moving, or business is moving. There's changes in what his work. Is that true?
He did mention that word too.
Yeah.
Where's he moving to?
I don't know, but it shows changes either in his work or work location, or changes in his environment. So he could definitely be moving, whether house, where he lives, and or even his job. So he's in a lot of transition. I feel like there's a lot that, how do I say this? There's a lot that he didn't take care of that he has to take care of now. That's the best way I can put it.
Wow. Do you see him, like, is he like changing stuff with his business partner? It's a female, or there's like a male and another female there. There's two other people.
Is he what with his? I didn't hear the question.
Yes, ma'am. Because he's moving. Do you know if he is later in transitioning, that his business partner has not been very honest in ethical practices with him?
I don't know. That would take me to do a more personal reading. I'd have to do a deeper dive. All I see is there's change or unrest with the business. He has decisions to make about business, maybe where to stay or to move on from it, and also with his living situation. So he's got a lot of fluctuation. There's a lot of influx for him. There's a lot of decisions that he has to make right now. So he's overwhelmed with whatever's going on. He's overwhelmed with whatever is going on. All right, Tina, I need to get to the next caller because our guest is going to be calling in a little bit, and I hope you stay on the line for them coming on air. Okay?
Miss,
Take care.
I just want to ask you, do you see him coming over?
Hi, you're on air. Welcome. Hello. Okay, and I think our guest, let's see when our guest comes on. Hi, you're on air.
Oh, hi, Michelle. It's Jennifer calling from Canada.
Hi, Jennifer. Welcome.
Thank you. I've been pulling tarot cards a lot lately. Well, I do it every day. But I've been feeling like I keep getting the Tower and Death, but, I know it's not necessarily the negative, but they're very reoccurring. I feel like there's something going on universally. Wondering if you can tap in and see if you've got some sort of vibe on what's going on as well.
With you?
Well, I don't think necessarily me, because when I'm pulling the cards, I'm pulling it for everybody. So I feel
well, we are in Tower moments of shifting the mind. I mean, there's a lot. I've predicted some stuff in the August pick a card readings, the general overview of a lot of the changes, climactic and governmental. So, yeah, there is a lot. But Tower, usually the Tower has to do with getting rid of rigid thinking or mindset. It usually has to do with some kind, whether mental, emotional structure, could be environmental structures, but usually it is coming to different conclusions. From the perception of the if you look at it, somebody's been in the hangman position, researching, getting different perspectives, different points of view, and then there is this kind of, breakthrough, right, at the 13, which is the death card, which is renewal. Yeah, which is renewal, right? The death, something's changing. So, yes, there's a lot of collective change happening within systems and structures, obviously, yes. But there's also, would say with you, you're having to change. The Tower could be our routine. It could be, you could look at consciously and see what needs to be re-looked at, re-examined, changed. Where am I too rigid or looking at this outcome or this way or this approach? I would start with that, because that Tower, the Death card and the Tower card really go archetypally quite, together.
So if we're going into Akashic Records, is it possible for Akashic Record to change? So say, for instance, that, so it's not
I'm doing a whole, if you go to my Instagram, there's a link. I'm doing a whole Akashic clearing. A lot of people, the old school thought, would say that the records, looking at it literally like it's etched in stone. So there's a lot going on right now between the Akashic plane and astral plane to see about what is carrying enough resonance, coherence, and vibrational frequency to then be bumped down to the etheric plane, which in the Tree of Life is the 9th sphere, Yesod, the foundation, the testing place to see if enough vibrational frequency, resonance, coherence, and energy has congealed enough or to manifest into form, denser physical form. So there's a lot going on etherically in the spirit realm right now to see next steps and next directions. Everything is mutable. You know what, Jennifer, you bring up a good point, because our guest who's coming on now, we will probably be touching upon this, and because she does work in this realm as well as I do. So I'm kind of looking forward to a deep dive. So why don't you hang on, stay on. You might get your question answered. If she's open to answering questions, I will come back around. So what I'm going to say to everybody listening, if you had a personal question for me, please save it till next Wednesday. If you might have a question for our guest predicated on what we're talking about, then keep the hand up. Press 1 on your keypad. If it's going to be relevant to our conversation, okay? All right, Jennifer, thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Amy. You're on air. Whoops. I think so.
How are you?
All right, gang. We got Amy Robeson here, healer, spiritual mentor. Hello, Amy.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yeah, likewise. Let's just get a little bit of your background so people can know a bit about you and connect in with you more before we dive in deeper. So whatever you'd like to share. I always kind of like to say the first awakening, and then, because we have many awakenings. That's why the podcast is Awakenings.
Yes.
Right? And then the awakening to what you're doing now, how that happens.
So I'm an Akashic Record Master Teacher. My first awakening was the first awakening that I remember, that was a pivotal moment in my life. I was in my early 20s, and I didn't want to be here anymore because I had a really hard, traumatic childhood, and I just didn't want to do this anymore. I felt really stuck, and I was really struggling, and I just kept hearing to go to hot yoga. And so I actually listened to this inner guidance. At the time, I didn't have the word intuition, but I went, and that completely changed my life. It completely saved my life. And that started this trajectory of following the energy that presented itself to me. And the second time I had like a big awakening is the second time I cracked my tailbone in my life, and I went into a depression, and I knew cracking your tailbone is something.
How the heck? It seems like that would be painful, Amy. I mean,
it's
beyond
painful. I cracked it once when I was 19, and I cracked it again when I moved to Charleston to be with my husband, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I was like really sad because I went back to school and I had this idea of what I was going to do, but I never thought that I would go and move to a different state and be with my husband, my now husband.
Wow.
And so it was like I just didn't know what to do. And when I was meditating back when I lived in Wisconsin, or when I was in yoga back in Wisconsin, I kept getting this guidance like, start meditating, start going deeper with this. And so instead of going into a severe depression, I was like, I'm finding a meditation teacher, and I wanted to have someone that teaches me how to interpret my dreams. Because at the time I was having severe dreams where like someone would be killing me or someone would be torturing me. And so I wanted to understand them because I knew intuitively that it was much more than that, because I've remembered my dreams since I was a kid. And so I wanted to learn what they meant. And so my first teacher taught me how to meditate. And then she taught me how to be a meditation teacher. And it sounds so fluffy, but it wasn't. Like, we learned like hands-on healing and exorcism and how to be a medium. And this is when I started accessing the records and through this. And this particular point in my life has led me to where I am now because I just kept following the energy. And whenever you follow the energy of what's presenting itself to you, magical doors open even when you're uncomfortable going through them. And
I love what you're sharing here. 'Cause I always say, follow the resonance. That's the energy.
Yeah.
And magical helpers appear. Can you talk about that? Because I feel I've got confirmation goosebumps all over, Amy. Oh my God!
Yeah,
I can feel your energy, your portal. Oh, I love it. I really feel if you can underscore that a bit, because that to me is so much the new paradigm. What people have to understand more than law of magnetic attraction. It's like resonance. Where's the energy? Follow the energy.
And so I'm going to use another saying, because my friend says this.
Okay.
And she says, follow the thread. And
follow the what?
The thread. There's like a thread of energy. And so
I just posted that.
She goes, follow the thread.
No, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I just got goosebumps
thread.
everywhere.
I'm like, You're talking to me, sister. I love this. Yes. So we have to dive into this because I feel so many people are lost right now, and people are having to learn another way of navigating. That's always been there, but it's going to become more and more prevalent. It is going to be the way we do life. And a lot of people are struggling with this, you know. So if you can share, if you don't mind sharing some examples of how did you know to follow the thread? How did you know to see the thread? What did that, or the energy? How, if you can give some little examples that might highlight this for people listening right now, I'd appreciate it.
So for me, when I listen to what my heart is saying, and listening might be hearing, feeling, knowing, seeing, and so it just depends. And so for me, like and this is an example, like I wanted to do hands-on healing, but I was really scared to do it. And back then I was in my previous career, and so I worked every Saturday, and I had a Sunday off, and we were supposed to go water skiing. And so I met a new friend, and I was like, hey, you want to go water skiing with us tomorrow? And she's like, no, I'm doing something weird. I'm like, well, what are you doing? Like, instantly I'm like perking up. I'm like, I like weird. Let me know. And she's like, oh, I'm going to get Reiki certified. I go, I have no idea what that is, but I'm supposed to go with you. Can I come? And it was just this really deep knowing that I don't know what that is. I just know I'm supposed to go with you, and I'll figure it out when I get there. And it's trusting that that's what you're supposed to be doing. And so for me, it was just this really deep knowing that I was supposed to do whatever she was going to go do, even if I didn't know what it was. And that's how I just kind of navigate life in general, is if I get a full body yes on it, even if I don't understand all of the ins and outs, because right now what we're moving into is we're in this great time of massive awakening, but we don't have to know or see the big picture. It's more about following the stepping stones or following the thread. And each stepping stone opens another door that creates the big picture for you. And if you follow it, magic. It's just magic. If you go against it, which is like trying to paddle up the river instead of floating down the river, if you go against the current, things just become a lot more challenging, a lot more harder. And they're a lot more challenging than just doing the uncomfortable thing that you're being guided to say yes to.
Yeah. And you're reminding me of a situation I had years ago. I moved in the Marine, and I didn't know anybody or hardly, and I had this thought. Something happened to my car. I think it needed I don't know what was going on with the car I had at the time. And I had this thought where, or something about if somebody is going to be there to help, you know. And someone gave me a referral for this car place. I still use them to this day. And awesome. In my meditation, it came through, you're in good hands, just relax, you're being taken care of. I kid you not, Amy. The guy, first of all, the place comes and picks you up to take your car in, right? The guy puts his one hand, he was older, I'll never forget him, gray hair, puts his hand on my shoulder and says, oh, don't worry, yes, we pick you up and we can take you back, or if you need to go somewhere, you just call us. He goes, don't worry, we got you, you're in good hands. And I went, oh, my God. It was like,
yes.
You know, that synchronicity to follow that opening, the energy, you know, like, trust this place. I feel a good connection here. I feel a good connection with this person. I feel a good connection with this referral. I feel, and I feel if people can just integrate what we're sharing, you know, what you're talking about, if they need to start integrating it every day, everything, not just the big things or when they're lost or confused. What would be your suggestion to bringing it more into everyday living? Or how did you
stop saying you're confused? Like, that's a big thing. Like, I was doing a bunch of readings earlier today, and that was a really big message. It's like, be honest with yourself. You're not confused. If you keep saying you're confused, you're going to be confused. Yeah. But deep down, the majority, like 90% of the people, know exactly what they want to do, but they're too scared to take the leap of faith. Yeah. And if you actually get honest with yourself that, oh, this is what I want to do, but I'm scared, that opens up new doorways. If you sit there and say you're confused, you're just going to sit in the confusion bubble. And that's going to create more chaos and more confusion for you than versus like, hey, I'm scared. I want to do this very thing. Universe, God, divinity, whatever sacred title you give that sacred being, help me. And guess what? They're going to help you. But you got to be open to the synchronicities and not question them as well, because it's like that story that you just said about you're in good hands. Like, you can't make that up. No, and right? And it's such a beautiful thing.
And something to your point, I love this. You're not confused. That's why I've known when I got trained in my counselor training, they've said, you know, if the client ever says to you, you know, I don't know, you have to say they do know, because precisely why you said, Amy, because we all know. We don't know when we're asked a question. We might answer with 5 different things or 10 different things or 5 different feelings, but we know. And the other thing, right, is our higher self never sleeps. There's a part of us that's orchestrating everything. It's just that little ego part that may not know what's going on. But I think that's so powerful what you said. First of all, don't say you're confused. I love that. I think that's so empowering. Because right away when you say that, it just puts you right in that center point, right? It's like you immediately start anchoring, getting more grounded with, I'm not confused. I love that.
Yeah, and even if you don't know everything, you at least know enough to get to the next step. That's it, and that's all you need. Like, just a little bit of information to get to the next step, to get to the next step, to get to the next step. And one thing leads to the other, and it just beautifully unfolds.
Yeah, or connect with the part that isn't confused, because if there is a part that can be confused, and I love that saying, I think it's Einstein, out of confusion comes creation, and out of chaos comes new order, and we're in that time period. But I agree with you on one level. Honestly, even if times are confusing or it looks like confusion on the outside, I really feel, to your point, what you said earlier about listening to your heart, you know, reading the energy, connecting with the signs, a lot of people, and I would even say mainstream people even, are not confused. It might be confusing times, but you kind of do know what to do, right? That's kind of what I'm hearing you say. There's usually some intuition, a little voice, or impetus to do something, no matter what it looks like externally in the world. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, yes, and I think that sometimes, and what I'm being guided to share too, is like sometimes I think people mistake stress for confusion. And stress is a big culprit in our life. Like, we are constantly bombarded by so many different things. And that, all of that energy, if you think about just your social media feed, social media feed can stress you out within the matter of seconds, depending on what's in your feed for the day or what's in your feed in that particular moment. And it can be on a conscious level or a subconscious level that you're getting stressed out, because sometimes you can be in comparison mode on an unconscious level because you see all these like picture perfect realities, which there really aren't. But this is an illusion. And so there's these high expectations of, and I'm just hearing to use this example, and please note, anybody that does this, there's nothing wrong with this. I actually think it's a really cute, but it can create expectations of what you're supposed to be doing. And this is the example that I'm being guided to use. It's Christmas time, taking matching pictures with all the matching pajamas with your whole family and posting that on social media. There's this expectation of what Christmas time or what the holidays look like, and even like engagements or baby announcements or gender reveals. There's all these different expectations on social media that we encounter throughout the day, and your subconscious is taking inventory of that, and it can create unnecessary stress, and it can create stress that you're not even aware of in the nervous system. And that stress can be mistaken for confusion.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's because all that stimuli coming in. Now, I think let's dive into this a little more, because that totally is like a pet peeve of mine, that especially when everybody was doing that snapping where they disappear, or they're in the closet, and they're in this clothes and act clothes, or dancing and saying they're a spiritual gangsta, and they're just, I'm like, you are not spiritual.
There's all these different
gangsta. No. I know, but it was people that it didn't even fit them, who they are, but they're just doing it because everybody else is doing it, and that's so not the soul. So it was really kind of just like, oh my God, do some, connect in with yourself. But that comparison, I feel like it also, what it does is and maybe you have an antidote to this, it drowns out people's intuition. It's like, my thing is, don't just post what everybody else is or the song, or the snapping up and down, or using AF all the time. I'm this as accurate as AF. I'm as gangsta as AF, for spirituality. Yeah. And I get it's a thing when you first see it a few times, especially if the person looks like that's what they're about. It's kind of cool, I guess. This has its place, because there could be the granny that's on the biker bar, but that person is really like that. So I feel like we go through
I think that's the authenticity part.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm not going to be on social media doing a dance. Like when I saw that trend happening, I was like, that's not for me. That's not authentic. No. And I can't, I literally can't bring myself to do it. Do I think it's cute? And there's this girl that her and her husband, they track their, she's a surrogate. And she does all these really cute dances. I'm like, that is totally her personality. She owns it. It's beautiful.
Exactly. Well, I used to be a dancer, and I didn't do it. It's like, who knows? Maybe I will. But clearly certain people that I knew actually that don't dance or hated dancing were doing it, and I'm like, connect with your soul. Like you said, authenticity. But it looks like right now, this part of the awakening with the soul alignment, we're such in baby steps. Some ways quantum leaps, obviously, but also in the mainstream construct, people are identifying what I do. Like, if I look this way, or follow this trend, then I'm cool. Then I'm being unique. I'm being hip. Instead of kind of connecting in with themselves into their authenticity or what they're about. And I agree, sometimes the social media can be noisy, and maybe like what you were saying earlier, maybe certain people were following the energy, were following the thread happily along, and then they're like, oh, I'm not getting the traction, or what's happening, or, oh, not everybody's doing this, what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I think that happens to a lot of people. And so I don't know what your thoughts are on that, because it is that comparison mode to some degree, and they're getting pulled off to not listen to their intuition, because perhaps what they're doing is not what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, well, I think there's two things that's really important. Is one, listening to what's true for you and not what's true for the collective. Just because something's true for the collective doesn't mean it's true for you. And for me, I'll always check in, because there's, for me, I have an online business, so I have to stay up with what's going on, because some things can affect me. But I had my baby during COVID, and there's all these new social media platforms popping up, and literally every single one that I saw was not for me, not for me, not for me, not for me. I'm going to stick to where I know I'm meant to be at this moment in time. And then as years have progressed, I'm like, okay, I know that I'm supposed to be in this lane, and then I'll jump and I'll leap into that lane, because I know that that's where I'm meant to be. And it's okay to go as slow as your system is wanting you to go. This is not a race. And I think that so often we live in a time where everything is instant gratification that we forget that we have the option to move slower, because we're constantly getting dopamine hits on our phones. And because of that, it creates unrealistic expectations of how quickly something can manifest in real time. And it takes some time for the universe to reorganize itself to assist you in manifesting the thing that you want to manifest. And so you have to be patient, and you have to be diligent about the things that you're being guided to do, and also say yes to the things that you're meant to say yes to, and say no to the things that you're meant to say no to, because every decision you make throughout your day has an opportunity cost. And that opportunity cost is either getting you closer to where you want to be or taking you further away from it. And the more that you recognize that, the more that you can say, okay, I'm uncomfortable with making this decision, but I know it's the right decision to make, so I'm going to do it anyway, because it gets me closer to where I want to be.
Yeah, so it sounds like the key, by what I'm hearing you share, a lot is that really connecting in to the body, to how you're feeling, that the energy. It goes back to the energy. Is this right for me? And that might be something good for, it's a good reminder for me, and I think it's a reminder for everyone else, or a new, factoid, if you will, is like bringing it back in, maybe even is this the right pace is this right for me? Or, and I think too, like what you said about energy, I think we know an energy, like certain things you were saying, I got very energized and I got, goosebumps all over, confirmation bumps. So I think a lot of times we get the messages that this is something that would be productive or inspiring or fun for you, or need to do, and maybe when we're not getting some form of that true authentic energy direction, then that's maybe a signal that not now, not right now, wait, or not for us, something. But to bring it back into ourselves is what I keep hearing you say, like bring it back into your intuition.
Yeah, and I think the big key point is to trust. And then, I just did a bunch of readings today, and so it's kind of in line with what we're talking about, too, because I had someone ask me, like, why do I do the things that I know I'm not meant to be doing, even if my intuition tells me not to do them? And so, there's these times where you'll get very clear, intuitive message, no, that's not for you. But because you don't fully understand it, and what I mean by you, I'm just talking about in general people, because we fully don't understand it sometimes, we'll do it anyways because we have our heart set on this certain direction. And, excuse me, I need a sip of water. So sometimes I always tell people that it's important to take a step back and ask why. Because sometimes you might be getting a no because you don't see or fully understand the big picture. And sometimes there might be things that are orchestrating, and if you go and say yes to that thing that you're meant to say no to, you're going to miss out on a huge opportunity that could be the very thing that completely changes your reality. Or they're saying no because there's something else that's just not in alignment. It could be, and I use this example because, like, one time I had to go get my car fixed, and it's 45 minutes away, and I wanted to go to this specific coffee shop to work, and I've never been there, and I'm like, and my intuition told me no, absolutely not. But I'm like, but it's so cute, I want to go. And so I'm like, fine, I'll just call, because I know you're telling me no, but I still want to know why. So I call. Guess what? I can't work there. They don't have any tables. And so that's why my intuition was telling me no. And so sometimes it might be so simple that it's just trying to save you time for your day, but sometimes we're so stubborn and we want it to be a certain way. But sometimes it's better to just go, okay, fine, I surrender. I won't do it.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, that's another thing. Sometimes it can be just it doesn't have to be like a huge thing. It could be like convenience, or I've had that happen so much that it's like, oh, that saved me time, or it's, oh, I don't even have to do that now because that was done. So, I always say a lot of times procrastination is our higher self stepping in, and it's saving us time or bringing us to a better, better place or better position. I love that story. Now, are you open? I think we might have a couple callers that may have questions for you, if you're open to that. Okay, cool. I saw that in your, let's see what we have here. Yeah, if anyone has questions relevant to what we're talking about, what we're sharing about, Sacred Awakening, and we'll talk also, because Amy does have a course or class, something coming up about that, or the Akashic. If you want anything on that line, that note, then I will take questions. But anything else, save it for another day. Hi, you're on air. Hi, you're on air.
Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao.
Zoe.
Hi, Zoe from Bali. Welcome. You're on air with me and Amy Robeson. I think it's Robeson.
Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Nice to meet you, Amy. I was actually having a conversation today about working on figuring out whether it was actually the Akashic or like hypnotherapy, because as much as we do some inner work and different stuff like that, I still feel like sometimes there is like these like little hiccups or these little like inherent programming blocks that we just keep running. I don't know if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if you have, you were saying before, it's not really a block, but I'm wondering if you have any advice around that, because there's just like a couple things that always in life, it just keeps coming back around. And I know that I'm removing or clearing a lot of it, but somehow it still, creeps.
So I'm going to share something really quick, Zoe, and then I'm going to share something really quick and then hand it over to Amy, but because as a perfect therapist and hypnotherapist and transpersonal psychologist, hypnotherapy is really the state. It's the meditative state. It's what you do in that alpha, theta state or delta. So even if you're doing inner plane work, it's really kind of, and I talked about this at the beginning of the podcast, it's understanding that state of awareness and utilizing that. And so sometimes blocks or block because we're going another direction. Sometimes it could be part of the soul path. Sometimes it can be something that can be completely changed, eradicated, or utilized differently, the energy of it or what it means. Or it could be something reoccurring that we're doing. So just to put my little 2 cents in, all right, Amy, run with it.
Perfect. So first off, I think it's awesome that you're aware of the hiccup and aware of the pattern, because for me, I'm all about getting curious, because when we get curious, we move out of judgment and we get into the ability to actually start making change. And one of the things that I love, and it doesn't matter what spiritual tool that you use, if it's hypnotherapy or the Akashic Records, one of the things that I love about the Akashic Records is you can ask in the records, like, why do I keep having this pattern reoccur, and how do I solve it? Because you're aware of the pattern. That's one of the biggest steps in healing it in general, is becoming aware of it. And so once you're aware of it, then you can start working on it in different ways. And sometimes it takes more than just the awareness to change it, which in your case, like, you're aware of it, so now what are the steps to actually start changing it? But it's being really honest about yourself throughout the day on how that pattern is what you're doing to play into that pattern and to reinforce that pattern. Because there's things that you're doing throughout the day that if you shift those behaviors throughout the day, you're going to shift right out of it.
Yeah, that's huge. Because we usually are doing something, because the pattern doesn't stay in place. If you look at it, the energetics of patterning, you can put your hand through it. If you have a thought or an idea, it's just energy, right, congealed or formed in a certain way, causing a feeling, a thought, and a behavior. But so you can do a pattern interrupt, especially if you are understanding, right, where it's coming from. I love that. That's great advice.
Interesting.
All right, Zoe,
so
thanks for calling in. How would you real quick, because I want to get to other people.
How would you recommend people to do a pattern interrupt? Because I'm definitely doing pattern interrupts. So I'm just like confused, even like lack or abundance blocks, right? Because I do have stuff that's coming in, and everything is always coming into me as I need it. But why, maybe I'm like, I feel worthy. I'm just like, there's what's a good way to do a pattern interrupt that you can suggest to people, I guess, would be.
It's noticing what your thoughts are throughout the day and what what you're doing throughout the day. So it's being conscious, but it's being like hyper conscious about it is what I'm saying. It's like, so you talked about worthiness. Pay attention to when you're talking to someone. What are some of the things that you're saying that actually go against you saying that you're worthy?
Yeah. And the action. So in other words, if let's say you're getting in relationships where people aren't listening as much to you or taking advantage, rather than getting caught in the emotionalism, and this is where you have to understand your patterning, your conditioned response patterning, before you even get to the soul design or soul patterning. One thing you can do, like Amy's saying, that it's the thought, but also when you're engaging, if you know your pattern, then you do something differently. It's simply that, I'll give myself an example, because with my Mercury in Leo, which is fixed, and I have a couple of friends, one in particular, if you're listening, shout out, who has Mercury in Aquarius, and she's really fixed. I have a lot of mutability in my chart, so I'm much more flexible and kind of curious and open to things. And so one time I shared with her, I said, look, I understood that when you have Mercury in a fixed sign, and mine's Leo, and I had to learn to do this, that I may close down
Scorpio,
and say,
so also.
Okay, so I may close down and say no, or in my head I'm saying no, or I'm tuning something out. And now I just tell myself, and now I don't even really have to say it, just unless I'm triggered or something, but I'll just say, remember, you have, Mercury and Leo, you can close down before hearing the whole thing. And so that kept me open. That's kept me, but I know my pattern. And the thing is, it's a pattern that I could look at astrologically. So there's no judgment there. It just is what it is. And now her and I will joke. Sometimes we'll be, it's so funny. She'll go, because I'll say something, or sometimes because she used to be a client, she asked me for reading, and then no, that's not going to happen, and it ends up happening, and I'm not going to do that, and then it ends up happening. So now we laugh, and she goes, my fixed mindset, I'm staying open. And so it's a joke between us. I'm like, my fixed mindset, and we'll laugh. She goes, you've got a fixed mindset, I got a fixed mindset. So that's a pattern interrupt. She doesn't, I don't, whatever, go into close down. Because a lot of people, to Amy's point when she said at least you're aware of it, a lot of people don't realize what they're doing. And that's 80% of the issue, is if you don't realize what you're doing, you can't change it. So that's what I would just suggest there.
I'm doing, but I'm like, why do I keep doing this if I'm conscious of it?
Okay, that's for your Akashic, that's for hypnotherapy, Akashic clearing, repatterning. Just start interrupting the pattern. If you see that it's something that's reoccurring all the time, to Amy's point, that's where you just interject. You can figure out the why later. I mean, if I eat 20 chocolate chip cookies a day and I go, oh my God, I gained weight, why am I eating those chocolate chip cookies? Okay, I can figure that out later. Pattern interrupt, stop eating 20 chocolate chip cookies a day. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
All right, Zoe, love you. I want to get to one more caller.
Love you.
Love you. Ciao, ciao. Hi, you're on air. Did you have a question about what we're chatting about?
Yeah. I've been in this pattern before, but I try to give up my old life and start over again, like jobs that don't work and going to the same thing. And then I get there and I'm pretty lost. I find it very hard to recreate myself. Does that make sense?
Mhm. You're getting lost in wherever when you move or whatever.
Yeah,
guys,
I just keep
Amy, we got to have Amy back on and do deeper dives. These are great questions and great for like sessions.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Right?
When you said it, I instantly saw confusion in your brain. It's like almost like you're having like an identity crisis of like, how do I want to show up in this place? And so you get to recreate yourself on whoever you want to be in that place, and nothing that was, and I'm putting this in quotations, that you didn't like about yourself at the previous jobs that you had, you don't have to bring those forward. Nobody knows you. And so you get to decide who you want to be and how you want to be, and you get to hit the reset button. But it's like almost like you're not even sure who you want to be. And so the question is what are your values? And your values will help you identify who you want to be.
Okay.
Yes, and what's your purpose for going there? What do you want to, like earlier Amy talked about curiosity. What are you curious about? What do you want to research? What do you want to try out? And I love that, the values. I always suggest to people when you're making decisions, and especially moves or job change or career change, what is the energy of the people you want to be around? What kind of energy do they have? What are their values? Are they aligned? I know I need to be around creatives because I'm also an artist. So, right? And what is the environment? What's the energy of the environment of the circle? When we start talking energy, then that's what you bring in, and that's what you focus on. And that's why you're there, is to create that environment. I think Amy, when she mentioned early on in this podcast, energy, I think that's key. Because energy is going to reflect the values, right, what you value.
I do have this question, like I left something open-ended, almost like I was forced out and I was kind of set up, and I just walked away thinking I'll recreate myself, and I didn't. I'm wondering if I'm supposed to write a letter to a corporate entity above, the middle management people, just to, not in an angry way, but to tell them what happened so that they know, and that maybe I could put it to rest then, because it just bites me every once in a while. I'll be fine and I'll just feel so invalidated.
You could literally just write a letter in general and not even send it off. I think the most important thing is to brain dump and get it all out so you can get the angst out of your energy field and not be holding on to it anymore, because it's holding you prisoner. It's holding you captive.
That's what I feel like.
And it doesn't even matter if you send it off or not. Just uncensored journal, write a letter and be done with it, and burn it if you want.
Well, I did do that. And the people that she was under all got, the people she protected. But she's still there. I even taped her screaming at me. And
okay, here I'm going to interject because then we got to move on. Here's the thing: you don't want to set yourself up, your inner child up, or the vulnerable, softy part of you. If they're not already receptive, that bigger pattern is, why are you trying to get understood by people that don't have that capacity or that ability?
Ooh.
So focus on your needs. Yeah, and so you being there for you honoring, wow, I wanted to handle it this way, and I wanted to have more understanding and compassion. These people don't have that capability, whether that's the culture of the place or the individuals. But I like Amy's idea of writing it out and maybe even talking it out with a person you feel safe with, and then come back to an empowered position of, because sometimes we're in situations where we're like, why is someone not acting like me? And like, I remember when I first was early on in the path years ago, early 90s, with one of my teachers and professors, And I was doing all this inner work and having great, changes in my life. Everything was great. And then certain people, I'm like, why aren't they changing? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And he goes, well, why would they? And I go, what do you mean? I'm doing all this work. And he goes, are they? And I'm like, well, no. He goes, are they in counseling?
You're right.
I said, no. Are they doing the workshops that you're doing? No. Are they doing the meditation? No. He goes, well, then why would they? That helped me so much. Because now I look at people and I'm like, well, unless you have natural compassion, but most people are caught up in their life, their world, they have their own problems. If they're not consciously on a path, why would they handle something consciously? And also if they've proven to me that they aren't capable. Sometimes it's not people don't want to, they just don't know how to.
What if they didn't know, though?
But that's not your place unless you're going to, that's a whole other topic, unless that's going to be your life.
It's not even worth fighting the battle.
Right?
You're right. I just want to lean forward.
Why. But your key, your healing is why do you go towards that which they're not ready or present for? Why are you trying to change them?
I don't know.
That's a good question. What you need to look at. Yeah. Because when you do that, then you're not going to attract that anymore. You're not going to need that reflection.
I think I was always protecting people as a child.
But there's a reason why, because that became your part, that became your role that you over reinforce. So anything we have issues with is a role taken too far. It's a good role to have an acute situation, but when you're chronically living that way, you're stuck there because that's how you got your validation, your love, your appreciation.
Got it.
So that's where you need to go.
That's good.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in.
Wow.
Well, guys, last month had all these juicies. Juicy. Amy, let us know what you got going on. Thank you for calling in. Let us know what you have going on and how people can reach you. I have loved this conversation, chatting with you.
So have I.
Very inspiring.
I think you and I could chat for hours.
I know. I'm like, I have more to dial in. I'm like, oh, my God. Yeah. Well, definitely I'd love to do it again.
For sure.
I love some of the things you said, and especially that energy and the following that energy. How does it feel? I think is so powerful.
Yeah. So if anybody's interested, I'm hosting our next round of Sacred Awakening, which is my Akashic Record course. It's at 50% off right now. So if you're interested in learning how to get answers on demand, how to open the records for yourself, I teach people how to open the records using crystalline energy, and it's a very simple method. And then I also have different free things on my website. I also have a podcast called Awakening with Amy Robeson and a YouTube channel. So you can go to my website. It's theamyrobeson.com, theamyrobeson.com, and Robeson is Robeson. And you can check out my courses on the course page. If you go to our free, it's theamyrobeson.com/free. I have 20 plus free healings. But definitely check it out. We have tons of stuff going on right now, and I just did a bunch of group readings today. I'll probably be doing some group readings on Friday as well in our Facebook group or on Instagram. I'm not sure where I'm doing them, but if you're interested in any of the work, just go to my website and you can find my social media channels and what courses I have and things like that.
Okay, and Amy, and what's the website? Give them the website. It's posted on Insta, but what's the website? I didn't get that.
It's the Amy, A-M-Y, Robeson, R-O-B-E-S-O-N. So it's theamyrobeson.com is my website. And you can go to courses and check out Sacred Awakening there, or you can go to our free page where we have healings and things like that, or my podcast page or something.
Very cool. Okay. And maybe I'll invite myself on your podcast. I mean, we can definitely come back and hang out more. And we could do a whole just session of us bouncing back and calls and play a bit more. You have a lot to offer, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on and share. This has been great.
Yeah, no problem. I think it would be fun doing some readings together on air because I think you and I follow the same philosophy, so it's really fun.
I know. I'm like, are we in probably the same soul group and guides? Because some of the stuff you were saying, it's similar to what I was saying. I'm like, I love this. Oh, it's great. Yeah. All right. Till next time, Amy. Thanks for being here and big hug.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye. All right, gang. Contact info for Amy is in the episode description box below. Also, ways to get in touch with me. I want to just remind everyone, please, 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 make sure, especially a lot of you are longtime listeners, I know it's a hassle. Put it on your calendar. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. 5-star review will be greatly appreciated. Just put those 5 stars. You don't have to write anything if you don't want to. And also connect with me on Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube as well, and also Awakenings with Michele Meiche on YouTube. We're starting to migrate some of the, right now, just the replays over there. Some of them. Some of them we can't because they get censored. But anyway, all right, gang, thank you everyone that called in, everyone in the chat, those of you that are new and recently found this podcast, welcome. We're here every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. Lots of love and light. Keep shining your light, sharing your insight, and, of course, keep awake.
Awakenings broadcast every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific time. Archive shows available on iTunes. For continued awakened conversations and insights, join the Awakenings group on Facebook. And check out Michele's blog at soulplayground.com. And keep awake.